at noon. Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
The Deshaun Watson saga is finally over, at least for the Saints and the Houdat Nation. Cajun Cannon Bobby Hebert says it was an easy choice.
Like, whoa. And then I say, well, it has to be the money. It has to be some unbelievable contract, and that's why he goes to Cleveland.
The Browns are paying Watson $230 million, fully guaranteed. Jameis Winston is expected to be back with the Saints at QB, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. LSU baseball hopes to stop the sweep from Texas A&M. In the last two outings, the Tigers have been able to come from behind in the eighth, only to leave the go-ahead run on base and give the lead right back to the Aggies. Coach Jay Johnson says it's not just one thing the team needs to do to be better.
There's so many things that I think we can do better, and yet when you put it in that perspective, almost makes it more frustrating.
Game 3 today at the Box. First pitch is at 2. Catch all the action right here on WWL. And the LSU Lady Tigers are dancing on to the second round of the women's NCAA basketball tournament. Kim Mulkey's crew tamed the Tigers of Jackson State last night in the first round. Next up for the Tigers is Ohio State. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock tomorrow night in Baton Rouge. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Grab that jacket as you're heading out the door this morning. It's quite chilly, but this afternoon looking quite pleasant. Afternoon highs climbing into the lower 70s with lots of sunshine around. Really a near perfect day. As we head into the work week, mostly sunny conditions with afternoon highs climbing into the upper 70s, and it will be quite breezy and a touch humid. Lots of sunshine, highs climbing into the upper 60s under breezy conditions. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Just call 260-1870 or text us on Oakland Heart text line. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug, what's going on?
Nothing much. We're Man, so much to talk about locally. Sort of a disappointing week. Not disappointing, but sort of a, not downer, but things didn't happen the way we wanted to in a lot of respects, as far as LSU is concerned, and also the Saints. What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
Way too much money. So glad the Saints didn't get him with it. Way too much money. Look, the Saints have been mortgaging the team for the last 4 years, trying to get that last Super Bowl win out of Drew Brees. And so we've got salary cap issues. We're crazy. And then you're going to try to turn around and pay somebody like Deshaun Watson, who's been out of football for a year, would likely be suspended for 6 weeks. In his first year, and I just don't. Look, he's a young, talented quarterback. We'll take nothing away from that. I mean, he got a 5-year, all guaranteed money deal. I mean, there's no way the Saints going to pay that. I'll be honest with you. I'd be happy. Go ahead.
I mean, I was going to give you on $230 million a couple of different ways. Number one, when Tom Benson and I always had bought the Saints, it was for $73 million. So it's almost 5 times the value of what was purchased for in 1985.
And that included the Montleon Hotel. I mean, the hotel on Porter's. Which one is it? Included the. What's the hotel?
He got that before. Yeah, he got rid of that before.
I thought that was part of the
deal.
Okay.
I thought that was part of the Saints deal.
Well, it was a funny back now. I'll tell you. It did include the Saints training camp on trial, but that's another story. I think, as I mentioned, that Mr. Benson probably rolled a little bit in his
thinking
tomb,
about that. But that's another story.
thinking about that. But that's another story.
Here's the second. Now, one of the things
one of the things that happened
when
Mr. Benson bought the Saints was
the market value
the Saints at the time was 55 to 6, but he overpaid for it, believing for the long term, thinking the asset would appreciate more than what he overpaid for, which turned out to be the way he moved. Now, there's two ways looking at this. Are you overpaid to Deshaun Watson, or did Cleveland did, with draft picks and money, or
in 4 years, would that asset appreciate to the extent where $230 million was a good deal? In other words,
it's a good.
In other words, right now we're looking at $230 million.
We're looking at $230 million too much.
2025,
2026, it may be
he may be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I don't know.
No, I'm saying that I personally think, like you, Albert, is way
and you're just depleting your team. And if he's a
ACL
or
a injury away from having your franchise be irrelevant for several years.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, I guess any quarterback is, right? If you got a guy that you put all your marbles in to one quarterback, that's the case for anybody. But just the no-cut feature of it really,
that's what I'm saying. Even
guaranteed.
Right.
I mean, you can
come back from $150 million.
Come back from a $230 million hit.
Back from a $200.
Not to mention, and I guess we'll jump legal a little bit. It's interesting to listen.
And I guess
to pundits talk about. Well, the grand jury. Indicated that there was not enough
evidence
to proceed on these charges.
So therefore, you have a presumption of innocence. And I just want to clarify, you have a presumption of innocence in the criminal justice system. But when you're a football team evaluating the behavior of a player
you're about to spend about $250 million on.
Spend about $250 million on.
That presumption
is not.
You don't say, well, he was exonerated by grand jury, so he didn't do it.
By grand jury, so he didn't do it.
All it was saying, the grand jury, there was not enough
to bring charges against him. But that doesn't mean he didn't do it. You see, just thinking, there's a lot of people who get away with doing things, violating criminal laws that did it. But the state can't prove that they did. But when you evaluate it in a personal situation, such as if you want to hire this person, or if you want to marry your child,
you can presume whatever you want.
Right.
Presume whatever you want.
I'm not saying I think he's young, and
I'm not
on the other hand, if you had to exclude people from the NFL based on aberrant
sexual activity,
probably wouldn't have a lot of players
and
coaches.
Have a lot of players and coaches.
Yeah. A lot of well-known coaches and players would not be in the NFL right now.
Players would not be in the NFL right now. So I'm not saying, but
I think the Saints have real opportunity because if you look at it's like a stock. Do you buy a stock when it's at its all-time high?
Right.
Or do you buy a value stock?
Look at Jared Allen. Look at the Patriots quarterback. Look at these guys that they got through the draft. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Listen, I wouldn't be disappointed with Baker Mayfield. I really wouldn't. I don't. I think he's got the experience now. He's come to that point where he's had those first few years of training under his belt, paid for by someone else. I think he would be a perfect candidate to come run the team and we've got enough weapons, and I don't think he would be as expensive as certainly not as Sean Watson was.
Well,
but I think I think he would be a more reasonable price for an NFL starting quarterback. Yeah.
Well,
also
too,
Drew
Brees
Brees not set the world on fire his first 4 years.
I mean, he was
above average quarterback.
Yep.
When the Saints were evaluating quarterbacks 16 years ago, they wanted Dante Culpepper first.
Yeah.
Dante picked the Dolphins. They didn't want Drew, and so Drew fell to us, lack of a better word. Now, the first 4 or 5 years as an NFL quarterback, I call it the Joe Burrow effect. You learn.
Go through a learning process and you're making your mistakes.
Joe Burrow,
thank you, Ohio State, for using that scholarship to train up and have Joe Burrow learn the game, so that when he came to us, he was a finished product. The same thing. If we draft a rookie quarterback, we're going to have to go through some real growing pains the first 2 to 3 years.
Some real growing pains.
Play him through these games where you have 4 or 5 interceptions. You play him through these games where he makes the wrong read, and he gets experience, but at the expense of wins and losses.
And he gets experience.
Even Peyton Manning and a lot of great. They didn't set the world on fire that first year.
On fire this year.
With Baker Mayfield, he has learned the craft at the expense of the Cleveland Browns.
The expense
so
of the
if he came to
New Orleans,
I think he could be
coached up in a way that he would be very effective. And I think he probably learned a lot. I think he made his mistakes. He learned what he shouldn't do, and we would have more of a finished product. I think Baker would be good. I think Jameis would be a nice bridge if they decided to pick a young quarterback.
Well, but that's just it. At this point, I don't know if you want a bridge, right? I mean, if you can get a guy that's got some, I always talk about minutes. If you've got the minutes back there as quarterback, and you've seen the coverages, and you've seen that it gains speed, you're going to be that much better than anybody coming out of college. If you've got the skills, and I think Baker Mayfield has the skill, I would make a play for him. Let me tell you, the last thing I'd want to do is give up Ramczyk or any, that's the most important 3 yards on the field. And if you can hold off the defenders from that first 3 yards, your quarterback's 10 times better. So, offensive linemen are at such a premium, and you need to build your team around them, because they can make an average quarterback great or an average running back great. So, you can't cover somebody for a long, long time. I don't care who you are. I would start there. And then, there's some other options, I would think. Garoppolo and all of those kinds of options. I got to tell you, he looked great playing for the Patriots when he did play. He looked great in some games, but again, he's still only a year or 2 in actually starting. He's been in the league a while, but he hasn't been a starting quarterback for a long time. He had that knee injury, was out a year, and so it's just a lot of things that if you get a proven leader that can get in there and just be better than average. You don't have to have you don't have to be Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. You can be better than average with a good team around you. Look at McMahon when he was with the Bears. I mean, he wasn't a banging up quarterback, but he won a lot of games because they had a great defense and a good enough offense and running game to shine. I don't know. I think there are options out there that are not at the $230 million plus draft picks range that we can certainly get and not be a bridge, be somebody that can be around for 5 or 10 years. So.
Well, when I talk about a bridge, too, I think you draft a Matt
Corral from Ole Miss,
and you train him up for 3 or 4 years, and just let him sit and watch, and
just let him sit.
Opportunity arises. And let them possibly compete.
Let them possibly compete.
When you think if you're thinking a rookie quarterback is going to come in, even if they trade up for one, and that he's going to take the Saints to a winning season,
and
there's no, in my opinion, there's no rookie quarterback that's going to win next year.
I mean, you look at Trevor Lawrence.
You look at Trevor Lawrence last year.
I mean, the jury's still out on him
as to whether he's going to be
a good or great quarterback.
You
saw some flashes
for him,
on him.
but you saw a lot of
But
things
you
he
saw
didn't do so well, where he didn't adapt.
Yeah, but he also he's also playing with the worst team in the NFL. So it's a different selection when you're trying to build your whole team around a quarterback and your team's terrible, and you got a really good team and you're just missing that one link and a couple of other players. And that's where the Saints are. The Saints are really good all around. Now they've lost a couple of defensive players, but they've got the opportunity, I think, to go get somebody better than average to come in and make a difference, and bring the team at least very far into the playoffs.
And this is the first year,
probably years, the Saints have a lot of draft picks. They got 4 picks in the first 101 picks. So you can remake a team also, because really, when you were over the cap, cheap labor, when you're over your draft picks and rookies,
right?
And that's how you make up for restructuring contracts. They paid bonuses this year that's going to add to the credit card in the future. The way you make up for that is get 5 to 6 contributors on a rookie contract. That sort of balances that off. And the Saints have that opportunity this year with all the draft picks that they have to sort of reload that young talent at a inexpensive price, or NFL inexpensive, in order to offset Ramshack, Lattimore, a lot of these restructured contracts. And they may even have some room for Teron Armstead. He hasn't signed yet.
He's another guy. He misses 3 or 4 games a season at least. He's got to stay on the field.
Right. Well, that's why I think the compensation level, when it comes to
that's why I think
he's still not signed.
Right.
He's not going to come signed at a premium rate. They're discounting that based on the ability to stay on the field. Which is still, maybe what is it going to be? Maybe
which is still,
maybe 11 million, 10 million, who knows?
11 million, 10 million.
What it would be if he did stay on the field. All right.
It's not what
let's
it
go to break.
would be.
Doug Sunseri.
Let's go to break.
Your Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back.
Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers. Right back after this.
Hey, it's Tommy Tucker, weekday mornings, wake up.
Hey, it's Tommy Tucker, mornings, wake up with me.
5 and 10 a.m. You get the news, web reports, traffic reports you need. You'll find out what's happening right here in your own backyard, whether that's the East Bank.
Okay, we have no callers yet, so we're clear to go to 35.
Businesses, and of course, our country. Pick up the conversations that matter to you on the station that is all about you. WWL. College basketball fans, join the action on the court during the biggest tournament of the year with DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn your team into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Yep, it's that simple. If they win, you win.
That simple.
Sportsbook customers can also bet on college hoops same-game parlay.
Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win.
Best of all, you can deposit whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BIG870. Bet team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code BIG870
on any college hoops team to win and get $200.
21 and over, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. Sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 877-778-67.
Jerry and Larry's Auto
Shop needed a small business loan.
Instead
of going to
The last spot in this set is on deck, which will
Well,
loan you
fast,
all the
but
money you need
instead of
at a very high rate.
going to on.
last spot in the
Get your loan
at a very high rate.
Your loan
Say that.
Same day.
Hey, it's your show.
depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. The Utah Chartered
Big Lou hadn't called me yet.
Limited eligibility
Yes,
for
I
standard
can.
loan. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
OnDeck is not lending.
In a
All
Cadillac.
loans subject to.
Your boldest ambition in a Cadillac SUV. Well qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for their
Well
months. Financing for 36 months on 2022 Cadillac XT4, XT5, and XT6.
2022 Cadillac XT.
Cadillac dealer.
Visit Imperial Coastal Cadillac. Premium is $27.78. $1,000 in finance. Example down payment 13.2%. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with leases and some.
Are you getting the runaround from your Hurricane Ida insurance
Getting the runaround from your hurricane.
company not returning your call.
Are you being denied a new
Is your
roof?
insurance company not
Denied a new roof.
We can help. Call me, Doug Sunseri,
Your insurance
WWL
company?
radio host and attorney at Nicaud
Sunseri, WWL
or go to our
attorney at Nicaud
website
Sunseri
at
Law Firm.
hurricaneclaim.com.
Or on the North Shore, call
Or on the
me, Michelle
North Shore,
Denver
call me,
Sunseri,
Michelle
at our office in Mandeville
Sunseri, at our office in
624-9697.
624-9697. We'll show the insurance company who's boss.
Are you a business owner?
Why?
Why?
It makes no sense.
Why?
Focus on what you do well.
It makes no
Growing your business.
focus on
Accounting
growing
Services
your
Unlimited.
business. This is Unlimited. Handle your
Thomas
bookkeeping.
Fonte.
Hi, this is
Accounting
Thomas
Services
Fonte.
Unlimited is insanely affordable.
Accounting Services
and
Unlimited
will come
is
to you.
And Neil Cohen.
Accounting Services Unlimited. 514-717-6253.
Still running 6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at status on View Commercial.
Elise and Carl needed a small business loan fast. Order more equipment for their bakery. Elise suggested OnDeck.com.
Police suggested
Instead, Carl called
Lone Falcon!
No.
There's a better way to get that small business loan. OnDeck.
OnDeck. The online lender is easy to apply, and if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day. With lines of credit up to $100,000 and term loans up to $250,000.
Right for your business. America's largest online small business lender, OnDeck has funded over $14 billion to businesses like yours, so you can borrow confidence and get your loan fast. Go to OnDeck.com. Your loan
Go to
is on deck.
OnDeck.com. Loan is on deck.
Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank.
OnDeck or Chartered Industrial Bank.
Eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every
Eligibility
state.
for
All
same-day
loans
funding.
subject to lender approval.
All things legal on WWL.
All things legal on
WLAM.com.
WLAM-FM.
Connect with Doug
Yeah.
Sunseri and Albert
With
Nicaud
Doug
on the
Sunseri
Open
and
Our
Albert
Jewelers Talking
Our
Text
Jewelers
Line.
Talking Text Line.
504-260-1870.
260-1870.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're
Doug
back.
Sunseri, Albert
Sunseri,
Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal.
260-1870.
1870.
On the
On the talk and text line, or you
talk
can
and
text us.
or
Just
you
real
can
quick
text
before
us.
we jump into
Just
law,
we jump in.
want to talk a little bit about.
I guess. Let's get this out the way.
LSU
lost first two SEC games
games,
A&M.
baseball, Texas A&M.
Pitching and
defense.
defense. That's the Achilles heel. We'll see what they do in the future. In the meantime, they're just gonna have to be like a softball game. You're just gonna have to outscore until you get that pitching and attack and some defense. Second, LSU basketball. Did you watch LSU game Friday night, Albert?
I did. Very happy Will Wade is gone. He was another Dale Brown in terms of X's and O's. The guy, you would sit and watch this team, and it had very athletic kids that could do a lot of things, and they had no offensive scheme whatsoever. They played good defense. But they had no offensive scheme whatsoever. Pinson would dribble till 10 seconds left into the shot clock, and they'd throw one pass and bomb a bad shot. I just how they won. And again, they won a lot of games early, playing nobody from nowhere, and then when they got into SEC play. Because they loaded up their wins on the front end. And again, they were the kind of team, if they were hot, just playing street ball, they can win some games and go to go deep into the tournament maybe. But the same chance of playing, laying an egg, which they did. And again, I didn't see I'm glad Wade's gone. I hope they replace him with somebody that can recruit very well and grab these kids and coach them up.
Well, they could do what Wade did before, except it'll be legal.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
It'll be legal. Yeah. I think Coach Brown was a great coach, and I think his X's and O's. I think he was fine with that. But
And I think
if
they played like
they didn't
have a coach the other day. And the bottom line is
they just didn't have any shooters.
Their
best player, Adam Miller.
Adam
the best
Miller
scorer was out all year. And,
and
they had some limitations on offense
and outside shooting.
And outside shooting, and that's what got them. But
I think the distractions were too much.
But Coach, it's very interesting.
It's very interesting with Coach Wade.
I think he'll thrive. He would thrive in NIL.
I think he'll thrive.
And he would have been basically. He was sloppy.
He would have been.
He did because I'm not saying other. The fact is, other coaches did it.
They all do it.
And as you know, as you know, as lawyers, when we
have someone who comes to us and says, I was speeding. Everyone else was speeding. That's not a defense, and that's not a defense. For Coach Wade.
Right.
On the other hand, I think his biggest mistake
from the other issues is not understanding how to work within the confines of the system. So that there's layers of insulation where he's not directly implicated to what occurred. Such
as writing checks out of his own personal account.
Right.
I think what a lot of the other coaches have done. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm not getting into that. You can make the argument that everybody else making money
but the player has.
But the other coaches have layers of insulation between.
Would have layers of
like in The Godfather. Yes, Senator, we have a lot of buffers. The family has a lot of buffers.
A lot of
buffers. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's apropos day after St. Joseph's Day too. So,
listen.
I'm wondering how many good Catholics got up in the morning and watched Godfather to get in the mood for St. Joseph's.
A lot of marriages and baptisms and all kinds of stuff in that movie, right? I was never a big fan of his. I like the fact that he could attract players. He was able to recruit, like you said, probably didn't do it right, where he could do it within the confines where the alumni could do more things and the coach would do less. But I don't know. Now, honestly, what I think ought to happen, I don't know. I think like Calipari should have been banned from the league. He went from UConn to all these different places to Kentucky and was doing that and got caught doing that, and he would leave. The school would be stuck with him, with the death penalty. Yeah, and he would go off to another college and do the exact same thing. And nothing pleased me more, even though it busted my bracket, than having Kentucky a number 2 seed lose to St. Peter's. Somebody said, "Yeah, where's St. Peter's?" I said, "In Covington. Where else is St. Peter's from?" Right?
That's right.
Yeah,
right.
I had never heard of them before, and they won again last night. And I got to tell you, they're fun to watch. I love their coach. He's got a great disposition, and he's from New York, right across the river. And so, I don't know.
I think that's the great thing about the NCAA tournament is that
I think
you have players who on teams that will never make the NBA, but they play together for 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
4 or 5 years.
And they hit the open man.
Play good fundamental basketball.
Because you see a lot of these teams that have one and done players.
Because you see a lot of
in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee got
in and out.
Was upset. Kentucky is perpetually one and done, and they do not play like there's 5 individuals who play, but they don't play as a team. And a lot of these, teams that are highly ranked and have players who play 1 or 2 years, they never ever develop a team type concept. You remember a couple of years ago when Loyola Chicago went,
right?
They had 5
years ago when
good players who played together, and
good players.
Hit the open man.
It's all about offensive scheming. It's all about coaching them up. And
basketball.
Yep.
Creighton almost beat Kansas. So, but we promise we'll get the law. We'll do this after this break.
We'll get the law.
I guess we'll talk more about the hurricane issues because that seems to be dominating the consciousness of most of the people in New Orleans. And I really sense that a lot of people who have really tried to resolve this on their own and try to do their best are just really sort of at a point where they're at the end of the rope and saying, what do I do next? What do I do next? They've had enough. So we're off the split ducks and Sarah. For Nico, your weekend things legal. We'll be right back if there's free time.
Still has a choice here. And Mr. President Biden banned all imports of Russian oil, natural gas, and coal. All imports of Russian oil. It's being asked to pay more.
Stories that impact
Here we have just the last one.
I may be able to help.
0-0-0. 2012 first wait and win big GM's matchups. Download the app. It's a $10 line wager on a college tournament game. If any team hits a three-pointer during the tournament, you'll win $200 in free bets. Just use the bonus code MM200 when you register. Plus, you'll earn BetMGM reward points that can be redeemed for online bonuses. There's are converted
MGM Resorts. Sign up today and use the bonus code MM200 to win $200. If any team hits a three, you're in BetMGM's watching. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older, customer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credits. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-2700 in partnership with Sam's Town Street. Hi, folks. Joel Myers from my friends at Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. If you're in the market for a great pre-owned luxury vehicle, look no further than Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, where you can shop from a large selection of top luxury brands, including BMW, Lexus, Range Rover, Cadillac, Infiniti, and many others. Of course, we have a large selection of top-quality certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz vehicles as well, because at Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, we have the nicest pre-owned vehicles from the nicest people, our customers. Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans, Veterans Boulevard in Metro. Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why?
It makes no sense. Focus on what you do.
On your business. Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable.
Services Unlimited is affordable and will come to you.
Accounting Services Unlimited. 504-717-6253.
That's 717-6253.
Or visit us at ASU-LLC.com.
Or visit us at ALC.com.
Did you know there are more pollutants inside than outside your home? Those pollutants can aggravate colds, asthma, sleep habits, and respiratory ailments. Keeps AC Heating and Electrical can install a state-of-the-art air quality system for virtually all the contaminants in your home. Call them today and save $250 off your new indoor air quality system.
In your home.
For better breathing and for fast relief, call Keith.
For a healthier home.
And now, electrical.
With Connected Health from we're connecting convenience so that managing chronic diseases can be done from the comfort of your own home. And checkups can be done anytime, anywhere. Real-time data, real-time treatment. This isn't just more convenient care. It's more advanced care. This is Connected Health at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Oxnard. For more information, visit oxnard.org/connectedhealth.
Brandon Ollie here. Premium Windows, professionally measured, professionally installed. LeapWindows.com. At Community Coffee, we didn't set out just to make great coffee. We set out to make something that would bring out the best in people. Morning, noon, and night. And we would want to share a cup of that. Community Coffee. Find us at your local grocery or
Visit us at communitycoffee.com.
Looking for the perfect gift of jewelry that will always remind her of you? Open Heart has a huge selection of fine Swiss timepieces. Plus the latest selection from David Yurman, Penny Preble, Pearls, and Marco Bichigo. Shop Open Heart on Metairie Road. If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax. Consumers to qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone. Call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-256-4180. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-256-4180 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-256-4180 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-256-4180.
I feel like I'm being used to buy a pair of headphones. Everywhere I go is a creepy ad for headphones I looked at one time. I hate feeling like I'm being watched.
You have to call the community
and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back WWL.
Hey, we're back at Sunseri. Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We're going to talk a little bit about the same thing we've been talking about for the last 7 months, Hurricane Ida issues. Albert, one of the things about a lot of homeowners, business owners, when they have a dispute, their first instinct isn't to sue. In other words, they own businesses, they pay taxes, they have a mortgage, they just are in a place where they didn't get where they were. Every time there was an issue, they called and sued about it. They tried to work things out. They tried to problem solve themselves. Really, lawyers were like a last resort.
Mm-hmm.
And or they might get a consult, take that information, and use that to try to solve the problem. And they were always thinking, I would prefer not to. I prefer not to get a lawyer involved. It's a last resort. But I think a lot of the homeowners and business owners who are in that situation seem to be at the end of their rope 7 months later, still dealing with the same problems they had maybe a month or two after, Hurricane Ida.
I agree. Now is the time. I think people are realizing I'm probably getting more calls now than I did earlier on, because I think people are realizing, okay, this is it. I've gone as far as I can go. I've done all I can do myself, and I'm getting nowhere with this insurance company, with this adjuster, with my claim, and I need help. And honestly, I think now is the time to get someone else involved, get an attorney involved. The days I think of the public adjuster are gone as well. If they wanted to come out and assess your property early on and try to work something towards a settlement, I think those days are over. It's time to take the next step. And you really kind of have nothing to lose by doing that. I know the way we work, it's on a contingency basis. We get a percentage of the new money only. So if, and we pay the costs and on the front end. So there's nothing to really lose. No reason not to call at this point, because right now you're however far away from where you need to be, and it looks like the insurance companies have kind of drawn the line in the sand at this point. So I think it's time to take the next step. They've assigned 4 different adjusters to you, right? They keep kicking it down the road. Oh, wait, you know what? Send me this. And they send you, oh, yes, look, send me pictures of this. Do you have any inspections of your house before the storm? And that's not a reason to delay. and they're just doing it to where they don't have to continue to pay the claims, and it's or to pay them 6 months from now. Now, granted, once you're into litigation, and so you're in it for the long haul. And so we certainly understand the desire to want to get it worked out on your own. But the problem is, at this point, 7, 8 months later, the handwriting's pretty much on the wall.
Now, just notice for litigation, a lot of times what you basically try to do is you submit the demand, and the insurance company has a duty under the law to pay what's undisputed. So if they get the readjustment and they see that there's certain items they missed, the law says you got to pay that within 30 or 60 days, or they could be in bad faith. And so basically what you do is you submit all that information, quantify the damages in a way that there's no questions to scope, and also pricing, and also you have accompanying photographs. And then you have and then the clock, the ball's in the insurance company's court, and the clock starts running. Now, ideally what you'd like to do is submit that demand, get that money in that the insurance company's not disputing, give them an opportunity to do that. And then after that, if there's money still left on the table, then you go to litigation to try to get as much as you can of the remainder. Now, there's two courts, St. John Parish and also Jefferson Parish. They have what's called the case management order. And basically, when you file for litigation now, their whole focus is getting the insurance company and the homeowner and their experts together shortly after you file suit in order to resolve the dispute. Because I was having a conversation with one of the claims adjusters. I said, look, we can either have this discussion now and resolve the issue, or we could have the same discussion 2.5 years from now, and the insureds or the policyholders are going to be jumping up and down wanting bad faith damages and a lot of other damages because they had to wait 2.5 years. But basically, the substance of the discussion is going to be the same. And so basically, I think what the case management orders are saying, let's have that discussion before you spend all that time and money and effort with the litigation process. So, Albert, I think that's a positive. I think a lot of some of the courts in the area are prepared for this, and they're ready to try to get these claims resolved early.
Yeah, and listen, so much of what we try to do, either through this meeting or through through our litigation process, or once we've hired, is to explain to and show our clients what proof of loss really means, what a satisfactory proof of loss is. The same thing for just your contents, right? If you've got a contents claim, the word is prove it, prove your damages, because the burden is on you as the plaintiff in a lawsuit to prove it. So you're going to need to obviously you probably don't have receipts for 99% of the things that you have in your home, but you know what you've lost and you know what was damaged, and there's the internet out there, and you can make a list and copy a link to exactly what it was, and or reasonably close to what it was that you lost, and list that item, list the retail price of it, and then list the link, and make that list all the way down. Yes, it's going to take some time, but you pay me now or pay me later, right? So if you get it all done now, and it's all in that format from your contents list, take photographs, have it all documented, and send that in, and they still don't pay you, then then sign us up, because it's a big deal. The other thing, remember to do, save every text and every email to and from your adjuster or your insurance company representative. Always save those, because those are going to be very important when we are trying to prove what the mindset of the insurance company representative was when we're alleging that they arbitrarily and capriciously failed to pay your claim. So those things are very, very important in trying to get this done. So be sure to save those. The other thing, and we'll talk about after the break, is I am getting calls now from people regarding their contractors.
Yes.
Yeah, he took my money, and he took my money, and I hadn't seen him since. You know, he was supposed to buy materials. Oh, the materials didn't come in. Supply chain issues. You know, we'll see you in 2 months. And so those are the kinds of things that I'm seeing now, and you know, we need to talk about how to handle that.
All right. I'm hearing the music, Uncle Albert from Paul McCartney. We got to go to a break. Doug Sunseri. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
And the action is heating up. Make sure your picks aren't ice cold. The BetQL app is here to help you make smarter bets from the first round through the final.
Okay, we'll have 5 minutes before top of the hour
to find you the most profitable betting opportunities for each game. With BetQL's proven data and expert analysis, you'll know which bets to make and which ones to skip. Download the free BetQL app today or visit BetQL.com to get started.
Start your bracket with a bang. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you customers a $150 instant bonus.
Last part of this set, we'll do our taxes with Jackson Hewitt.
All you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the bracket is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. I like Arizona to finally live up to expectations and win a national championship. Plus, we cash out the balls in your court, so you can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is over. Join FanDuel with promo code ABEAR, that's HEBERT, and you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit. Guaranteed. That's promo code ABEAR on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, the official partner of WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online bill money wage only. $1 first deposit required. Bonus restrictions on withdrawal site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Everybody has a story. We don't always know where it'll take us.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis. But deep down I knew I was brave enough to face it. I had Blue Cross coverage and got care from top doctors.
When health issues surface, it's good to know you can rely on the strength of the cross and protection of the shield. Your card opens the door to a large network of quality providers to care for you.
I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. I'm here and I am healthier and better than ever.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana has been helping Louisianans get care for generations. With the right card, the right care, you can get back to your story and to what you love best. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana.
Hey people, it's Kenny Main here reporting live on the Caesar Sportsbook commercial. Caesar has decreed that when you bet your first $50, you get a $250 Uber Eats gift card. Quite a deal for your first bet. Use code RADIO at sign-up.
Must be 21
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Want your biggest possible tax refund this year?
Okay, we're going after this.
Walmart have an offer you won't want to miss. Your Jackson Hewitt tax credit will prepare your federal return for as little as $59 and no more than $179. Taxes done, there you shop. Your biggest federal refund guaranteed for no more than $179. Stop by Jackson Hewitt in any participating Walmart store today because this offer won't last. Terms apply.
All things legal with Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the open Vancouver Talkie text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We've got about 4 minutes left, so I think after the hour we'll have Albert talk about issues regarding contractors because they're starting to come in, and Albert's going to give you a primer on dealing with contractors, what to do, what not to do, contracts, license, and that sort of thing. And I don't think we could do that in 3 minutes, but it'll be a great learning experience if you're dealing with that because those are some of the issues that we're now dealing with once people get their money in. Also, those law students who didn't take the bar a couple of years ago, they should listen to. So they might learn something extra. Real quick, I was talking to a few lawyers who were handling Hurricane Laura claims in Lake Charles, and they're about a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half out from their hurricane, and they still hadn't had a case that has been tried. And they indicated that the judges were sort of beating the insurance companies over the head a little bit, saying, "Get these matters resolved," and they were being very forceful on trying to have the insurance companies engaged in these claims because they live in the neighborhoods, they see the blue tarps, and let's do it sooner than later. So I thought that was interesting that there have been no cases tried yet in Lake Charles, and that it was indicated that the judges had a case management order that, and they gave specific instructions to tell the insurance companies to be fully engaged and deal with the full consequences of your decisions, including not responding timely to a lot of quantification of claims by homeowners.
I did speak to an attorney out of Baton Rouge who did handle a Laura case, a Laura trial. We probably spoke within the last couple of weeks, and she kind of basically told me she got clobbered. She went to trial, and she
on the insurance side.
On the insurance side, she represented the insurance company, and it didn't matter all of these little technical legal issues and policy issues. One of their favorites is, the wind actually has to make a penetration into the structure.
Wind created openings.
The wind created the opening, right? And so, the water leaked through all my windows. That was a maintenance issue. Well, it didn't leak for 10 years before that, but now the day after the hurricane, it leaked. So this was not a wind created opening. Come on. But those are the kinds of things. Had a guy call me on Friday. He said, "Yeah, I have a brick fence with columns and a wrought iron fence in between the columns." And he said, "The storm, tree hit it, storm just messed it all up." So they said, "Look, I'm not sure what to pay. We don't have a formula for that in our system." So they said, "Look, just get it replaced and we'll take care of it." So $16,000 later, he has it replaced. And they said, "Oh no, that's too much.
Too expensive.
Too expensive. Yeah, we're not paying you that. We'll pay you 12." And the answer is based on what? If you don't have something in your system that tells you what it costs, and my client just hired someone to do it and paid someone to do it, that's what it costs. And so there's such an arbitrary and capricious denial of payment. It's amazing. It's amazing, but that's the kind of thing that we're hearing. How do I know that roofer didn't lift up those shingles and break the seal tab? So wait a minute, are you when your adjuster didn't even get on the roof, and you're going to now say my client is trying to perpetuate insurance fraud? Send me that in an email, please. Send me that in an email. Yeah.
All right. We're going to go to hour number 2, all things legal. We're on to 10 o'clock. Albert will give you his primer on contractors and how to deal with them and some of the things you need to do to protect yourself. See you in about 10 minutes. Stay tuned for national news, local news. See you in 10.
home of the Saints and LSU. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD 110 in New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
CBS on the hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. The UN now says at least 902 civilians have been killed in Ukraine. More than 10 million people have had to flee their homes and are now displaced inside the country or have fled to safety, like this resident of Mariupol.
There is no Mariupol. We sat in the cellar for 10 days and did not move once. We neither had water nor electricity.
They're facing a constant barrage of attacks there. Ukraine's president is pushing for more peace talks with Vladimir Putin, and he wants them face-to-face. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tayyab is in Lviv.
We've seen round after round after round of talks between Russians and Ukrainians. Very early on, it was in person. A lot of it is now being done remotely. But Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, saying he wants to now meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in person, face-to-face, meaningful talks. Let's come up with something that can end this violence.
In western Ukraine, Russia claims it has fired hypersonic missiles destroying an underground warehouse. International Studies professor Jeffrey Lewis.
The missile that they've used is not very different from the more than 1,000 other missiles they have fired into Ukraine in the course of this awful aggression.
Russia says the missile flies 10 times faster than the speed of sound. Tragedy at a Carter south of Little Rock.
At least one person is dead, at least 20 more have been hurt in a shooting outside a Carlsbad in southeast Arkansas. Wallace McGee is one of the event organizers in the town of Dukas.
We've been doing this for 16 years and never had a problem.
CBS's Tom Foti tells us police have one person in custody. An LA County police helicopter crashed in Angeles National Forest. KCAL TV reporter Lori Perez.
Landed close to the road, so emergency responders could reach it quickly. It could very easily have gone down farther down the mountain. LA County Fire has confirmed to us 6 patients have been transported, one with critical injuries.
5 sheriff's deputies and 1 doctor were on board. 6 people are dead after a car slammed into a crowd at a carnival in southern Belgium. Dozens were hurt, 10 with life-threatening injuries. 2 people were arrested. Investigators say it's too early to say a motive, but they don't think it was a terrorist attack. Once again, there won't be school in Minneapolis tomorrow. The school district and the educators who went on strike 11 days ago have failed to reach a contract agreement. They're striking over wages, mental health resources, and the size of classes. Tomorrow will be the 10th day school will be missed. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medishare. If you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for healthcare can save $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after the switch. Customer satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of a typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works. It's been around for more than 40 years. Remember, they shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you have a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. It's very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
U.S. company is providing greener jet fuel to Australia.
It's a landmark agreement. The Californian company will produce the more sustainable fuel for Qantas because Australia does not yet have that ability. We hope to see this in Australia one day. Qantas boss Alan Joyce. It means the blended fuel will lower emissions by 8%, not a flight from California to Australia. The fuel releases up to 80% less carbon compared to kerosene-based fuel. Ross Maitland for CBS News, Brisbane, Australia. WWL First News. Good morning, I'm Tom Perulian on your weather station, WWL AM FM.com.
chilly start to our morning. You'll need a sweatshirt or a light jacket if you're heading out early. Today is the first day of spring, and it will definitely feel like it as we head into the afternoon hours. Lots of sunshine will be around with afternoon highs climbing into the lower 70s.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. An overnight homicide on Irving Street, WWL TV's Mike McDaniel has details.
Investigating Irving with a shooting that left one man dead in the French Quarter. This all happened just after 6 a.m. at the 7th block of Irving Street. Police responded to an aggravated battery call, and when they got there, they found a man inside a business with a gunshot wound to the chest. He died at the scene. Someone was detained by police for questioning, but no word yet on the official arrest.
While New Orleans police are investigating a fatal hit-and-run crash that took place on Chefman Tour Highway in New Orleans East, the incident happened just after 8 p.m. near Chefman Tour and I-510. On arrival, officers discovered an unknown male in the roadway with critical injuries. The victim was declared deceased at the scene by EMS. Through investigation, it was determined that the victim was walking in the exit lane of Interstate 510 on Chefman Tour Highway eastbound when a vehicle exiting I-510 onto Chefman Tour Highway struck the victim and continued to head eastbound. Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
Don't look now, but the Pelicans could be flying high. The Pels got a much-needed win on the road against the Spurs. Pels remain in the 10th and final playoff spot in the West and could easily jump the Lakers at 9 with just 5 games left in the regular season. Not only did the LSU Lady Tigers survive and advance, they rallied to get the win over Jackson State in the first round of the NCAA women's basketball tournament, overcoming a 10-point deficit with just 4.5 minutes left in the game.
10 seconds to go. Covington will shoot a three. It's no good. Rebound Carey, and that's going to do it. 3 seconds to go. Get at the end of the front court. The horn sounds. The ball game is over. And for the first time in 8 years, LSU has won an NCAA tournament game.
The Lady Tigers will host Ohio State tomorrow night at the PMAC. Tip-off is at 7. And LSU baseball will try to avoid the sweep from Texas A&M later today. Last night, the Tigers were able to tie the game in the bottom of the 8th, but it was the Aggies that came roaring back with 4 runs in their final at-bat to get the win. They'll close out the series at Alex Box today at 2. Here on WWL, pregame coverage begins at 1:30. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
A good Sunday morning. We're kicking off the morning rather chilly across southeast Louisiana. You'll need a jacket or a sweatshirt as you're heading out. And today's the first day of spring. Definitely will feel like it as we head into the afternoon with highs climbing into the lower 70s under mostly sunny skies. As we begin the weekend, it'll be another sunny day, highs climbing into the upper 70s with breezy conditions and a few pop-up showers are possible. Tuesday, things change as a cold front moves through the area, with a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, and a few of those thunderstorms may turn strong or even severe. Make sure your weather aware Tuesday night as well. For the local Director Forecast Center, I'm WWL meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Hour number 2, we're on till 10 o'clock. Stay tuned. WWL is your home for LSU baseball. SEC play continues today as the Tigers take on the Texas A&M at home at the Alex Box. Pregame 1:30, first pitch at 2. Hear it all on WWLAMFM.com and the Odyssey app. And I was watching the LSU Texas A&M game last night. It started at 6. And so my wife was being very patient, and she said, at 8 o'clock, she's like, is the game almost over? I said, no, it's in the 3rd inning. And so I had to switch to the iPad, and I watched it, and she watched a series to about 10:30, and she's like, "Ready to go to bed?" I said, "Nope, LSU's still on." I said, "They're in the 8th inning." So last night's game was 5 hours, and the game Friday night was 4 hours. So
to me, that's a slow death. But
it is. It is. Only a LSU nut would stay for 5 hours and watch it and not move.
Yeah.
But so they play at 2:00. So we need this. We do not want to go 0-3 SEC. 1-2, you lose the series. It's easy to make up, but 0-3 is you just get behind the 8 ball a little bit. Albert, sort of I guess we could say you got expertise. I don't want to get in trouble with organization with contractors. And a lot of the issues that are coming up now are some of the people who have received their insurance money and start to try to repair the house. They're dealing with mortgage companies trying to get the money in, and then when they get the money in, they're dealing with contractors, and they got issues with that. And Albert, if you want to just tell the listeners some of the problems that a lot of homeowners experience and what they need to do to protect themselves.
Yeah. So, we've been kind of talking about this really all along, and the decisions to be made should have been made earlier. I get it, especially those poor folks in Laplace and the areas that were hardest hit. I need a roof. I don't care who puts it on. I need a roof. I need my sheetrock done. I need this done. I need that done. And so, the tendency is to kind of take the first guy that comes along that wants to make repairs. And unfortunately, that's not always the best bet. And we've always insisted that, look, at least go to the State Licensing Board for Contractors website to confirm that they are, in fact, a licensed contractor or a licensed roofer. You have to be a licensed roofer. So make sure they're licensed in the state of Louisiana. Excuse me. And then the next step is regarding your contract, and payment of that contract and how it's set up. Be very, very careful about, a lump sum up front. If the guy wants a lump sum up front to buy materials, tell him what, send me the invoices for the materials. I'll pay for the materials. I'll cut you a check as soon as I know what those materials are, and I have that invoice. And I'll write that check directly to the company. If it's somebody that wants a good amount of money, hey, I've got to order windows and doors and this and that, and the roofing won't come in for a while. Well, look, let me pay for it. You can make your overhead and profit. I expect that. I want you to make money, but let me pay for my materials because I don't want you taking, $30,000, $40,000 of my money to buy materials, and you've got a cell phone and a truck, and now you're back to, Kansas somewhere or some other state where you're from with my money.
Or the other issue too is to use that money to pay for materials on another job that they're doing that they're behind on.
Exactly. And that's how they were kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And, Peter always gets screwed in the end, right? Because they're stealing your money, and then hopefully they'll get another job and be able to buy materials from that job to pay and they never get caught back up. Right now, though, that's not so much of a problem because, they're all getting paid at a very, very healthy wage. They're getting paid at a high profit margin. And that's why they're here. That's why these storm chasers are here. We know that there's lots of work, and we know that we can make a lot of money. The second thing you want to do is make sure that their subcontractors are licensed. Ask for a list of the subcontractors that they will be using on your job, and insist that they are licensed as well. And that way, they're not just picking up day laborers with no experience, no this, no that, to come work in your home. And you want to make sure that those folks are licensed as well. Your licensed plumber, your licensed electrician, your licensed AC guy. You want to make sure that your framer, if you have framing work to do, framer, your roofer, all of those trades, even stucco, foundation, masonry, all of those trades are now required, have been for quite a while, to to be licensed, and if they're not, insists, no, you need to hire someone who is licensed. And so if not, we're not gonna do this. And I get it that some of you don't have the luxury to do that because you need to get things fixed and get it fixed in a hurry so you can get back in your home. But that is certainly the best practices. And then just make sure they don't get too far ahead of you on the money. Always hold back at least 10 or 20% of the amount that is owed, so you can make sure that they come and complete the job, and you have enough money to, if somebody has to come and complete the work, you can terminate your contractor and have enough money to at least get the work done. And then y'all can hash out whether he was terminated for cause or what the issue was. So, they take control. It's your job. If you want to get it done right, you don't have to make friends with the person. If you just want to make somebody happy, be an ice cream salesman. You don't, this is your home. You're going to be staring at it for the next however many years. And, you want to make sure that it's done correctly and it's done by people who are licensed.
Yeah, also too, if you want to talk a little bit about verifying insurance coverage, we talk about it, at least once a month, the importance of determining, especially workers' comp insurance and other coverages.
Absolutely. That is part and parcel. I need a certificate of insurance identifying the date of coverage to make sure that they will be insured during the time that this work's going to be done. And then contact that agent. There's going to be an agent brokerage firm that wrote that policy. And listen, we've seen bogus and fraudulent certificates of insurance in the past. So call that agent and say, look, I want to confirm that this person has coverage, and can you just send me an email to that effect? And then they will send you an email with the proof of coverage. And the workers' comp is very important. You look at the top of the declarations page of that certificate of insurance, and it'll tell you, liability $1 million, workers' compensation as per state law. So they have to, because listen, if they're not licensed, they're not insured for workers' compensation, then you can be held liable personally if someone is injured on your job. So that's a very important part of getting this done as well. The other thing is there's a statute. If you gave them money and they just stopped working for more than 45 days, there's actually a criminal contractor fraud that allows you to go after them criminally, and then there are restitution penalties within that statute to collect money from them for any damages you may have sustained as a result of someone's non-licensure or someone leaving the job site for more than 45 days and just not coming back. And so these are some of the little, bullets you can have in your gun if you have to have a dispute with your contractor. Hey, look, there's this statute out there. It's a criminal statute, and if you don't hire licensed subcontractors, you can be criminally liable. And oh, by the way, if you don't, I'm drawing a blank now. So if you don't have the proper insurance, if you misrepresent something to the permit office, there's a laundry list of all of these things. If you delay for more than 45 days, that's in that statute. And it's important that you let that contractor know that, hey, look, this isn't just we're going to go fight over money one day. You need to follow the law, otherwise, there's some criminal implications for you not doing that. And we as lawyers can't threaten that, right? We can't threaten criminal action in a civil proceeding to gain an advantage in a civil proceeding, but certainly a homeowner can. Look, hey, you're violating the law by not, by holding my money for more than 45 days and nobody's showing up. So those are just some of the things that you can do to try to get the contractor to come to your job, next, as opposed to just playing it by ear and seeing, doing the jobs where I have the most fat and the most profit in.
All right. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your legal lawyers, all things legal. Give us a call, 260-1870, or text us, and we'll respond. We'll see you after this brief time out. See you in about 4 minutes.
Rock Culture Calendar has everything you remember and some things you don't. From legendary concerts to personal tragedies, he covers it all.
I remember playing this record on the air for the first time and knowing it was going to be a huge hit.
It's a perspective on the history of rock you can't get anywhere else from someone who's lived it.
Honestly, I'm lucky to be alive.
Scoot on the air, weekdays 1 to 4 on WWL.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
It's pretty bad.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres? No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
You just said now we speak Spanish.
We use our new language skills on our upcoming adventure.
Babbel, the language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.
Last part of the set is a very short video. Causeway Coin Company.
Get together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. For spring cleaning, make your own cleaning products from baking soda and vinegar. Join Odyssey. And together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashes the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM reward points that you can redeem for online bonus credits, like free bets and risk-free tokens. Planning a trip to Vegas? You can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM reward points that you can use for dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM resort properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program, featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM to get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
Louisiana only. You cover all promotions. So qualification or eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credits. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-42.
I have grown up in New Orleans. I've never really been anywhere else but New Orleans.
Phil Noto has been part of the jewelry scene here in New Orleans for 3 decades. He thought he'd seen it all until he came to Diamonds Direct.
First thing that blew my mind was the prices of diamonds. And I said, there's no way you can sell the diamonds.
But Phil soon learned the prices were correct. He had to join the Diamonds Direct team.
As a jeweler for 36 years and been in New Orleans for this long, I'm amazed by the prices that we have.
But it's about more than price to build. It's about having a selection up to 30 times your typical jeweler, the strongest warranty, higher quality, and an authentic relationship with customers.
At Diamonds Direct, we educate. We teach customers what you're buying and how you're buying it. I'm able to really get immersed with the customer and to make them happy.
So take it from a local jeweler and see for yourself what Diamonds Direct is all about.
Diamonds Direct is the best thing that's ever happened to New Orleans.
On Severn Avenue across from Lakeside Mall.
When you own a small business, sometimes you need funds fast. So go to OnDeck, America's largest online small business lender with over $14 billion funded. OnDeck makes it easy to apply in minutes and, if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day so you can get back to business.
Okay, going live, sir.
Your loan is OnDeck. Depending on certain loan attributes, you can qualify eligibility for savings. OnDeck all loans subject to lender.
Where do you go when you want to buy a Rolex?
All things legal on WWL. Celebrate Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Open Outfield and Talking text line 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the RPI.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend warriors. College hoop fans, we got you covered. The BET is your home, the Bet Network, for your biggest tournament in sports. Today, the tournament continues here. Tournament today at 10 a.m., followed by a quadruple header of select games from Westwood One. Hear all the exciting basketball action all month long. Keep it on Bet 92.9 FM and 1350 AM. So if you want to keep up, you're riding around, you want to keep up with the tournament, you can do that on Bet 92.9 FM and 13:15 a.m. Albert, we're talking a little bit about contractors, and tell us about some of what the homeowners should do in the written contract, some of the important provisions that they should maybe insert or look at or look out for in when you sign that agreement with the contractor on doing a renovation or repair after Hurricane Ida.
Well, one of the main things you want to make sure you have in there is a staggered payment after certain milestones have been completed. Let's say your house got pretty destroyed. Well, we're going to pay you X amount, up front so you can purchase materials, or else we'll purchase the materials as part of the contract and make sure that they get done. The second thing is when they come in to advance a pay app or collect a pay application, say, hey, look, this is what we did. We finished the rough end of the electrical and the plumbing. We want payment. Have them give to you lien waiver from their subcontractors. Make that in the contract that payment is not due until a lien waiver is provided by the contractor. What that means is that they're going to go to their subs and say, look, they're going to pay you this $10,000 that you're owed through me, but I need you to sign this document saying that, here's that I've been paid. And so at least there's some notarized document from the sub saying, yes, I've been paid for my work. So at the end of the day, if the contractor doesn't pay the sub, he can't file a lien against your home. So that's important. Another thing that's important is to put a clause in there regarding the completion date. And, and if they don't complete it within a certain day, they get liquidated damages added to the contract. And liquidated damages basically means it's so much per day that, that they're going to have to lose in the contract by not completing yours first, not completing yours on time. You want to put a little clause in there about time is of the essence, right? Because time is of the essence means that you don't have to put them in default when they don't reach that milestone. If they don't reach that milestone, you do need to send them a letter saying you are in default of the contract and liquidated damages begin to accrue at this point. You want to get all your warranties, right? So if they put a roof on, say, listen, you ordered this product from the roofing company. I need to know, I need to get your invoice and I need to register this with this company for my roof because, I want to, if there's a claim regarding the materials of the roof, I want to be able to say, hey, look, this is the date I had this roof put on. Here's the date of sale, and it's going to have all the warranty provisions on the back of that document. Same thing with any appliances they purchase, any AC unit, right? You want to register that unit because most of them have a 5 or 10 year warranty on the major components of that. So just do all of these things to protect yourself. Hey, you want an attorney's fee provision in there. A lot of times a contractor will put an attorney's fee provision for non-payment. Well, okay, fine, but I want an attorney's fee provision if there's a dispute regarding your timeliness in completing the job or regarding the quality of your work. And if I win, I want my attorney's fees paid. So, add those clauses. Just because you have a printed contract given to you doesn't mean that contract can't be altered or revised.
Now, I have sort of a difficult question given this environment, especially since so many suppliers are probably in the Pacific Ocean right now. How do you deal with timelines and, in the contract? In other words, having a time period, an end date
Correct. We are living we are living
supply
in odd times where there's supply chain issues and everything else. And listen, I represent contractors to very many of them, and I make sure that they put in their contracts that they cannot be liable for supply chain issues or material, backlogs. And if you look at what the definition of force majeure is, I mean, technically that's a French version of it's an act of God or an act, beyond my control. But if you read those articles in the Civil Code regarding that, they talk about things that are not foreseeable. So in order for it to be a force majeure, it has to be not foreseeable. Well, this is clearly foreseeable, that you're having problems getting windows, you're having problems getting products. So as a contractor, just because you have a force majeure provision in your contract, if you don't spell out exactly some of the items in that paragraph where you would be excused for your delay, then you're not going to get it, because clearly it is foreseeable that the products and services, et cetera, are going to be harder to come by. So from a contractor standpoint, you want to make sure you list those things in your contract. Now, if you do have a contract with a contractor, tell them, listen, I need a copy of the invoice where you ordered these windows, so I know that you've at least ordered them, and that we're waiting on them to be manufactured and delivered. So, oh yeah, I ordered your windows, they still not in yet. There's going to be another 30 days. Well, yeah, prove it to me. Show me where you ordered my window, and where it's where this address is at the top of that invoice, and where the window sizes that I need are listed on that document, and the exact windows that I'm asking for are listed on that document. So those are the kinds of things, you have the right to do that. You have the right to protect yourself and own it and do so. Make sure you do that.
Now, I want to ask you about one of these issues is some contracts may have an arbitration clause in there. Some maybe, some more of the sophisticated contractors. Can you explain what the arbitration clause is and whether that's a good thing or how could a homeowner deal with that?
Let's talk about that, because that's a very big issue. Okay, I am completely opposed to arbitration issues, to an arbitration provision in a contract from a homeowner standpoint. They did a little study, and it's about 85% of arbitrations end up in favor of the contractors when you go through AAA, because that's what they have. They have all of these contractors in there that are handled, that are these arbitrators. And so about 85% of them end up in favor of the contractor. You don't want that. You want to be in a court. A lot of times it's not going to save you a lot of money. So it's just, it's one of those things that you need to make sure that it's out of the contract. No, we're gonna go file a lawsuit if we have, and you're going to get more justice in the district court. Likely will get more justice in the district court than you will with an arbitration provision.
And if you do have an arbitration provision, from a pragmatic standpoint, you tell me, if you want the job,
I want to take the and look, and if you're the contractor, you want it in, then put it in. But the thing is, people are often confused between the difference between arbitration and mediation. Okay, arbitration, you go before an arbitrator, and the arbitrator's decision is essentially final. There are just a handful of reasons to be able to challenge an arbitration award with the district court, and it's very, very, very difficult to do. The arbitration is favored as per the U.S. Supreme Court, and so when in doubt, It goes to arbitration. When in doubt, the arbitrators, the parties agreed to this arbitrator. That's what the courts say. Y'all agreed to it. And y'all agreed to this arbitrator, so you're stuck with whatever decision they make. So they're very reluctant to overturn an arbitration provision, and that's the problem with it. If they get it wrong, you have no recourse. You have no appellate jurisdiction that you can go to and say, hey, look, they didn't do this, or the judge didn't get it, or the arbitrator didn't get it.
All right. After the let's take a break, and after the break, I'm going to ask you about change orders and defining the scope of work, and how do you deal with when a contractor comes back and says it's going to cost more, and how to deal with that particular issue. So we'll be right back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
The Tigers battle the Texas A&M Aggies in Game 1 at Hard Rock Stadium. Begin 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:30 on The Bet, 92.9 FM or 1350 AM, and the Odyssey app.
With Connected Health from Ochsner, we're connecting care with convenience so that managing chronic diseases can be done from the comfort of your own home. And checkups can be done anytime, anywhere. Real-time data, real-time treatment. This isn't just more convenient, it's more advanced care. This is Connected Health at Louisiana's #1 company, Ochsner. For more information,
Okay, we'll get a podcast commercial as the last one in this set.
With those brutal hot days of summer,
We have about 2.5 minutes to
take a break. Hang in there today and let them come out and check that air conditioning system to make sure it is working efficiently and dependably for when you need it most. Nash Heating and Air, been around for 50 years, family owned and operated. They put a new system in my house 2 years ago, and I was satisfied completely. Call them 504-835-4440 or go to nashac.com.
Vinyltech's warehouse is fully stocked with roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. Our 20 reps are working around the clock for you. Don't wait 4 months to get work done. Vinyltech has material now and are prepared to start on your home. Vinyltech has the most roofing, siding, gutters, and window siding crews in the area. Call for a free estimate. We show up and get you done. 504-469-7590 or vinyltechnola.com. 504-469-7590 or vinyltechnola.com.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. March marks the beginning of spring, and warmer temperatures means you can do more outside. Start hanging your clothes outside to dry instead of using the dryer. Not only will you save electricity and money, but your clothes will get that fresh outdoor scent. It's also a great time to start walking or biking to destinations that are close by. Instead of driving, join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Good news, jewelry lovers. Oakwood Heart has received 2 first-place National Design Awards. Still, you know what means more? Being voted Best Local Jeweler by the readers of Gambit. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakwood Heart.
Community coffee is more than a flavor. It's a centuries-old culture, an obsession fueled with family traditions and rituals. We hope will continue to support those that make our communities thrive. Community Coffee. Find us at your local grocery or visit us at communitycoffee.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell desks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Want your biggest possible tax refund this year? Jackson Hewitt and Walmart have an offer you won't want to miss. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will prepare your federal return for as little as $59 and no more than $179. Taxes done where you shop. Your biggest federal refund guaranteed for no more than $179. Stop by Jackson Hewitt in any participating Walmart store today because this offer won't last. Terms apply. Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary Grease Love Thy Neighbor.
Okay, going live after this.
Tonight's riots.
It was an accident which other people used as an excuse to murder one member of our community.
Or the 11th.
True unexpected stories. And experience the new Thriller Kill Strike. Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott. It's not a whodunit. If you know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in the universe of audio.
Odyssey.
All things legal on WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers on all things legal. Albert, we've been talking about this hour about contractors because so many people are doing renovations, repairs. Some people are getting their insurance money and trying to put their life back together. One of the issues that a lot of homeowners are dealing with is in the contract, defining the scope of work and when is a change order appropriate and not, and how do you deal with that issue?
So the scope of work is very important. You want, okay, we're going to put the flooring down. What kind of flooring? What kind of allowance am I going to have for flooring? Am I going to get to select and pick it out and pick out the flooring that's, maybe vinyl flooring now that looks like wood that it's not going to be a problem if water gets on it next time. All of those things should be as specific as possible. And even if it's not necessarily in their printed contract, you can do an addendum and sign the addendum saying, these are the products we want to use. But, oh, wait, I didn't, the doorknobs aren't in the contract. You got to get your own doorknob. We'll put them on for you, but that wasn't part of the deal. I mean, you hear that kind of nonsense all the time. So what you want to make sure is that everything that you're doing is covered under the scope of work. If it's not, virtually all of the contracts that I've seen that are working will say that anything not part of this contract will be handled in a change order, a written change order. And listen, I tell all of my contractors, keep a clipboard in your truck with a written change order form for the signature of both you and the homeowner. Just say, listen, you want to upgrade this? You want to, you had Formica countertops, you want to put granite countertops? Okay, well, this is how much it's going to be. And this is the type you want. This is this, and this. Before I do anything, you need to, sign this change order and pay me a percentage of that so I can get that product order. Oh, look, we found more damage, right? We pulled the wall out and now some of this wood is rotted. Not part of the hurricane claim, but you have termite damage behind this wall. So we need to change this. So then that's when you sit down and you execute a written change order, and get a price, and it's a fixed price, so there are no surprises. I'm actually trying a case tomorrow where the contractor got behind, and then realized he wasn't going to be able to finish the work. And my client paid them all but about $7,000 for this $250 contract, actually about $5,000. And then he decides, oh, look, y'all won't pay me anymore, so I'm going to stop work. Well, he had about $80,000 worth of work left to do. And so, he just basically walked away from the job. And then what he does, after he realizes he walked away and they paid him so much of the contract, he submits this bill to them for all of these changes and additions that he did without discussing it with them, without taking photographs. Oh, we replaced rotted wood. Where? Oh, this corner of the house. Well, I'm home all day. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you show it to me? Why didn't you take a picture of it? Prove to me that, you've replaced the rotted wood when you did this repair. And so those are the things that, you want to make sure that all of the change orders are in writing. So if you do have a few change orders in writing, you can go back and if you have to prove it one day and say, look, Judge, the contract said this. We did this on 2 or 3 other occasions where we actually signed the change order and all was good. But now he's telling me I have all this extra work. Well, he never told me that before, and I have no proof that the contractor even did it. So, change orders are important, and it protects both the contractor and the homeowner when it's done, and it just makes for a better paper trail when the he said, she said starts coming out at the end of the job that didn't go very well.
Well, with contractors and insurance, I always tell people when you write an email, do it with the expectation that a judge and jury will read it and write it in a way where they'll understand exactly what is happening when they read it. So, I tell people part of the reason is to write an email to communicate with the other party on a very important issue that may be heading to a dispute. The second part is keep in mind that a judge and jury may read that one day. And once they read it, once they get through the four corners of that email or that correspondence, that they know exactly what's going on and they get it. Let me ask you this, Albert, while we're on contractors, and is there certain licenses with the contracting board for certain contractors that they can and cannot do? Can you tell us about the different licenses there are, home improvement, residential, commercial, and how they may apply to renovation?
Yeah. So if you have a residential contractor's license, you can perform any work, no matter what the price is, on a residence. If you are doing work above $7,500, up to $75,000, you can have what is called a home improvement certificate issued by the Contractors Licensing Board. And what that will do is, you have to post a bond for a certain amount of money or some sort of line of credit, and then you take a little test. You become licensed with the state, and so anything over $7,500, they have to have a license for their particular trade, and then you can't add things up. So you can't say, look, the materials were this, the labor was this. For the roof, the labor for this was this. So it's 4 different contracts. The licensing board is wise to that. It all has to be all of it at once. Any work that's being done in that house has to be all one contract. And if it's over $75,000, you have to have a licensed residential contract to do it. If they're a licensed commercial contractor, they can work up to a certain dollar amount, I think up to $50,000, if they're a licensed commercial contractor on the job, but they can't anything above that. So, it's important that licensure does not necessarily mean that they're going to be a great contractor and they're going to do it exactly right. But number one, it gives you the little bit of peace of mind that this person decided we're going to take all the steps necessary to be in compliance with the law. And so it just gives you a little bit of insight into that contractor that, hey, they are trying to do it right. They're not trying to skate the system. Because if they're going to do that with the state, then they'll probably do it with me too. So it just gives you a little more peace of mind. And then, when you go to sell the property down the road, okay, there is one of the things one of the questions in the disclosure statement when you're the seller of property: were there any renovations done to the property? And yes, we renovated after Hurricane Ida. Below that, were all necessary permits obtained? And so if you're not a properly licensed contractor, and if the licensing board or the permitting office is paying attention, they are supposed to look it up and confirm that you are. And so you want to make sure that you may be denied a permit in that event, right? If you're not hiring licensed people. So it's an important thing to consider when licensing comes around, and the type of person or the person holding the type of license. And this is all found on the state licensing board contracting website.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. You can verify that on the contractor's website, and it's just basically
there's a tab. Sure. And there's a tab that says for contractors. Click on that, and the first thing it says is rules and law. And you can click on that and read the law, which is Title 37, and then read the administrative rules that were promulgated by the licensing board, the administrative agency, and you'll see what all these and how they mesh together.
There. So there you go. You sort of had a. Now, you lawyers, you think if they listen to the last hour, do they get a CLE, continuing education credit? Probably not, huh?
I wish I got that CLA for it, but you know.
That's as good as one. But all right, let's go to our final break there. Sunseri, Albert, Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
College basketball fans, join the action on the court during the biggest.
Okay, I have Dan on the line wants to know the difference between default and arbitration. You want to take the call?
How much time we have?
You will have a neighborhood of 5 minutes.
Win, you win. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet
sort
on
of,
college hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for
You know
a
what?
bigger
Can
payout.
you ask
The
Dan?
more
Tell him
legs you
we're
add,
at the end of the
more
show.
money you can win.
I do.
Okay, thanks.
Deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BIG870. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code BIG870 this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. Minimum $5 deposit. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 877-770-STOP. 7867.
Elise and Carl needed a small business loan fast.
He wants to know the difference between arbitration and mediation.
But instead, Carl called
Lone Falcon! Wait, no. Bad Falcon!
There's a better way to a fast small business loan. On Deck, the online lender that makes
ABC, fire and burglar alarm is the last one. It looks like you'll have just a shade over 5 minutes to fill before top of the hour end of the show.
That's right for your business. As America's largest online small business lender, On Deck has over $14 billion to businesses like you. You can borrow and get your loan fast. Go to OnDeck.com. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes,
I didn't feel so well, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal data is being bought and sold. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo. Plan the retirement you've always dreamed of. Listen to Your Money Matters Saturday morning at 7 here on WWL, the talking sports powerhouse of the Gulf South.
Make your first wager and win big during BetMGM's March matchups. Download the BetMGM app and place a $10 moneyline wager on any college tournament game. If any team hits a three-pointer during the tournament, you win $200 in free bets. Just use the bonus code MM200 when you register. Plus, you'll earn BetMGM reward points that can be redeemed for online bonuses or converted into comps at MGM Resorts. Sign up today and use the bonus code MM200 to win $200 if any team hits the three during BetMGM's March match. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Sandtown Sport Casino.
Protect what matters most.
Going live after this.
Security systems, monitoring, automation, and cameras for your home or business. Stay secure and connected at an affordable price. Call ABC today, 889-9795.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Stay tuned later this afternoon for LSU baseball against Texas A&M. Pre-game, 1:30, first pitch, 2 o'clock. You know, when I grew up, my dad's partner in business was a guy named who just died, Charlie Milstein. And he was the quarterback for Texas A&M under Bear Bryant from 1958 to 1960. And him and another guy named Don Meredith were all Southwest Conference quarterbacks at the time. So in the Sunseri household, A&M and LSU used to be a big deal, and that was before A&M joined the SEC. So unfortunately, LSU, we gotta take this salvage the series and at least get one this afternoon. Also, Albert, real quick, Dan called. We really didn't have enough time to take him, but he wanted you to explain the difference between arbitration and mediation. You got about 2 minutes.
Real quickly, mediation, we do a lot of those. Basically, we get a third party, neutral party, usually an attorney, to sit at his office or at the mediation office. We put on our case. Basically, this is what, why we think we should get X amount of dollars. He goes in the other room. They put on their case as to why, and then we go back and forth and try to resolve the case. It is not binding. If that's the major difference. If we can't come to a resolution, then at that point we go our separate ways and we go to court. With an arbitration proceeding, the arbitrator takes the place of a judge. And here's the case. It's supposedly a very expedited process. I find that the ones that I've been involved with have not been very expedited because we've got a lot of discovery that we have to proceed with. We have all of these, depositions to take and everything else. And so I find that the time frame takes a longer time. But the difference is the arbitrator makes that final decision. So he listens to everything and doesn't just try to make you settle the case. He actually gives you an arbitration award that you can go enforce with the courts to collect your money if you're successful.
All right. And lastly, we've got about a minute or two. Albert, we didn't get to talk about the Pelicans. They play tonight against the Hawks at 5 o'clock, I think. So, the Pelicans might be able to make a little noise if they make that play in. I think 2 out of 3. They got momentum where they could maybe win that play in and get into that next round, which would be good experience and a little foundation or building block. I mean, they seem to be
a lot of young players. I'm impressed. And listen, they're doing all this without their supposed best player, Zion, right? So it's kudos to the coach. I mean, he's the best coach we've had in my memory at the Pelicans, and he's got them playing at a high level. He's got these young kids buying in and believing. They're quality kids in the locker room. It's just fun to watch. It's fun to be a part. Even if they lose, it's fun to watch because you can see the effort on the court. They're not a bunch of prima donna LeBrons and they play as a team. They enjoy each other's company. They're friends. That's what it should be all about. And I like their chances.
I think after sort of fumbling around, they're starting to have an identity. Valanciunas, the center, is a great athlete. And I did a Buddy Diliberto is trying to pronounce his last name, so I'm not
right. Unfortunately, they started off 1-12, right? And so they've been trying to dig out of that hole. If they would have won half of those games, they'd be certainly in the playoffs, even without their best player.
Yeah, I guess Buddy would say Valanciunas. But you have him and you have Herbert Jones is a phenomenal draft pick in the second round. He's probably going to be in the history of the Hornets Pelicans, the best second round pick they've ever made. And then you got McCollum was a great trade. So we got a lot to look forward to. So about 20 seconds, Albert, anything before we sign off?
No, just keep plugging away with your hurricane claims. If you really need to, take the next step, give us a call. We've handled over 1,000 of them after Katrina, and we're not some out of town law firm that are advertising.
837-1304. We'll see you next week.
There you go.
The News Talk Sports Leader, WWL New Orleans.